Board. And that includes South Jersey Time. January 2nd, 2026.
Roll call.
Here.
Shaver.
Here.
Tice. Here. Quigley.
Welcome this evening. Just want to start out by saying thank you for coming. Just want to read, before we go to our first public session this evening, I'm going to read a statement. We have two public sessions on the agenda. The first one is for agenda items only. So public comment this evening will be taken in two timed sessions. The first public session is limited to comments on questions only on items listed on the agenda. Each individual will be timed and may not exceed 5 minutes to address the committee. A second public session will occur later in the meeting, during which members of the public may speak on any topic of concern, whether or not it appears on the agenda. During the second timed session, each individual will again be timed and may not exceed 5 minutes to address the committee. With that, can I get a motion to open to public session for agenda items only?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If there's anyone from the public that would like to come up and address the committee for agenda items only, I ask you please come up and provide your name and address for the record. I see none. Can I have a motion to close public session?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving into approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from March 24th, 2026?
Motion. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Shaver.
Yes.
Tice. Thompson. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Philbin.
Yes. Motion for payment of the bills.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Tice.
Yes.
Thompson. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Philbin.
Yes.
Shiver.
Yes.
Under ordinances, letter A, public hearing of ordinance 10-2026 to amend ordinance 3-2026, establishing a section in the code of the Township of East Greenwich entitled Public Safety Radio Coverage. This helps to establish a minimum level of radio coverage for our first responders in some of the existing commercial buildings. It was previously passed. It is just being updated to verify or confirm that a commercial building or a building is a commercial building. So can I get a motion to open to the public on this ordinance?
Motion to open to public?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Thompson. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Philbin.
Yes.
Shiver.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
If there's anybody from the public that would like to come up and address Township Committee on this particular ordinance, I ask you please come up and provide your name and address for the record. I see none. Can I get a motion to adopt public hearing on ordinance 10-2026 to amend ordinance 3-2026, establishing a section in the code of the Township of East Greenwich entitled Public Safety Radio Coverage?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Quigley.
Yes.
Philbin.
Yes.
Shiver.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Thompson. Yes.
Moving to resolutions, letter B, accepting a performance surety bond from 4-Star USA Real Estate Group Incorporated for Creekside Crossing Water and Sewer Improvements. This is a performance bond that needs to be posted for water and sewer improvements for a developer, D.R. Horton. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Philbin.
Yes.
Shiver.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Thompson. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Letter C, motion for approving the EAP services renewal agreement between the Cooper Health System and the Township of East Greenwich. This is a one-year agreement with Cooper Health Systems to provide an employee assistance program to our employees, something that we have used in the past. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Shiver.
Yes.
Tice. Thompson. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Philbin.
Yes. Letter D, authorizing the award of professional services contract to the Alignment Group for NJDEP Tier A-MS4 permit compliance services. This actually has to do with GIS mapping of our stormwater system throughout the township and to develop a watershed improvement plan for the safe, clean collection of stormwater. This is a requirement by the DEP and something that has to be done by the end of 2027 by all towns. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Tice.
Yes.
Collingsworth. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Letter E, authorizing the tax collector to remove certain properties from the 2026 tax sale, so from our tax office. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Collingsworth. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Also from our tax clerk, authorizing the cancellation, letter F, I'm sorry, authorizing the cancellation of property taxes for blocks and lot listed on the resolution. This is associated with the 100% disabled veterans program. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Tice. Collingsworth. Yes.
Letter G, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the County of Gloucester for family entertainment at Thompson Family Park. This is for a movie in the park. We tried to have this last year. It got rained out. So we have another one scheduled. So it's a shared service with the county to provide the equipment and host it at Thompson Park. It'll be on June 8th, 2026 with a rain date of June 9th, 2026. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Tice. Collingsworth. Yes. Quigley.
Letter H, authorizing the Township of East Greenwich Police Department to hire part-time Class 1 special officers. We're looking to hire 4 part-time officers, Class 1. I'd like to thank the chief for all of his help in putting that together around the program. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Sugar.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Collingsworth. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes. Under other business, letter I. Excuse me. Authorize the advertise for the Public Works Department seasonal help. Actually, we're entering grass cutting season, so this is to hire someone part-time for the season to assist our public works. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Tice. Collingsworth. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Still under other business, letter J. Authorizing the Girl Scouts to hold a first aid and CPR class in the courtroom on April 19th. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Collingsworth. Yes. Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Under letter K, authorize the township clerk to advertise for RFP for professional legal services complex litigation. This is associated with, we had well number 3 that was contaminated with PFNAs in the past. The DEP had filed a lawsuit against Solvay Alexis, and there was funds that were paid in a settlement to them. We have put in for a grant under that settlement, but this is making sure that we have proper representation, make sure that the township is getting its fair share of that settlement. So, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Quigley.
Yes.
Golden.
Yes.
Sugar.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Collingsworth. Yes.
Moving into, before we go to our next public session, I'll go to discussion items real quick. First thing, I'd like to make a couple notes. We had opening day for Little League this past Saturday. It turned out to be a great event, well in attendance, a lot of enrollment this year into the Little League program with the baseball and softball. Excuse me. I'd like to congratulate the new president, Courtney McClintock, and the VP, John Catano. I think they did a great job, as well as represent DPW, Anthony Rossett, the whole team for getting the fields ready. They looked awesome. As well as like to recognize even the police department for being out there assisting with the security. They got to raise the flag, so it was a beautiful event. We have a shred event coming up this Saturday, 9 to 12, at the DPW garage at 96 East Rattling Run Road. So anybody who wants to attend that can go out there. Next is our senior fair that is going to be this Saturday as well from 10 to 3 p.m. I believe. It's at the EUM Church at 14 West Cohawken Road. They're going to have some health screenings. They're going to go over some of the programs that are offered by the township for seniors as well as the county. So I believe this is the first one that they're doing, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yep, so great to see, very active group of seniors, great to see. And we are currently still working on the bus program. have a tentative schedule and hopefully looking soon to start to advertise to hire for a driver so we can get the program together. Next, we have our 250-year celebration. We had a recent meeting. We're trying to finalize all the details. Give credit to the entire committee for helping plan this. It's a huge undertaking. It will be on July 2nd. We plan to have food trucks and fireworks with a drone show and some rides, which we have not done typically in the past. So there's going to be some games, rides, and things along those lines. So, and there will be a rain date on July 9th. Before going into the second public session, another issue I'd like to address as part of our discussion tonight with the committee would be data centers and how they are a national issue of significant concern. As many of you are aware, this is our first meeting as a governing body since this matter came before the township. As many of you know, there is a pending application for a proposed data center. The hearing was initially scheduled for April 21st. The applicant has requested a continuance and has asked that that matter be carried on to the planning board's next regularly scheduled meeting on May 19th. The Planning and Zoning Board meets once a month, the third Wednesday of every month. Due to the strong public interest in this issue, Tuesday. Due to the strong public interest in this issue and the limited capacity of our courtroom, we are coordinating with the East Greenwich School officials to potentially hold a special planning and zoning board meeting at a larger venue. Tentatively, we are looking at May 5th, Tuesday night, 2026 at 6 p.m., pending confirmation with the applicant. Keep in mind, it's also the availability of the board members as well as our professionals. Any change in the meeting date is contingent upon that availability. I did already check with the school. They are available. It's based on the response from the applicant as well as the board members as well. That address is the Samuel Mickle School. It will be at 559 Kings Highway, Mickleton, New Jersey. Because this is a pending application, we are prohibited under New Jersey land use law from commenting on the specifics of this proposal. During public comment this evening, you are welcome to share your thoughts. However, please understand that any comments you wish to be considered as part of the official record must be made before the planning board at that scheduled hearing. From a broader perspective, we recognize the concerns many residents have expressed regarding the potential impact of data centers on our community and our environment. Therefore, I am requesting that the Township Committee join me in entertaining a motion to refer this matter to our professionals for the preparation of an ordinance for the immediate consideration that will prohibit data centers within our township and ban them. Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Discussion, roll call. Like it's a lead on TV.
Middleton?
Yes.
Shaver?
Yes.
Pace?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Quigley?
Yes.
Before we move into our second public session, please come forward. I want you to state your name and address for the record and direct your comments to the governing body. Again, because this is a pending application, we cannot comment on the specifics of that application. We will listen to your remarks, but we will not be able to respond. Any comments directly related to the application must be made before the Planning and Zoning Board at the rescheduled hearing. So at this time, I'd like to read the rules for the second public session. During our second public session this evening, members of the public are reminded that they may speak on any topic of concern, whether or not it appears on the agenda. During this second time session, each individual will again be timed and may not exceed 5 minutes to address the committee. Can I get a motion to open to public session?
Motion to open the public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If there's anybody that would like to come up and address Township Committee, I ask you please come in an orderly fashion, give your name and address for the record, And the clock for the 5 minutes will be managed by the clerk.
Thank you. Thank you for recommending the ordinance. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Suzanne Driscoll-Beckett. I live at 169 Acorn Drive in the Oak Ridge development. While I understand this is a scheduled council meeting, I have some prepared remarks. While I understand this is a scheduled council meeting and not the planning and zoning board meeting, I understand that several of you in your council roles serve as members of that committee. I'm here to strongly oppose the requested variance to construct a 17,000 square foot data center within just 50 feet of my back door. Although the property line is along a wooded residentially zoned area, they've already begun to remove trees. That happened late June, early July. I'm not sure who Andy is. He's somebody on the planning. He came out and met with several of us and was shocked that they started to remove trees. Partly because he said that for everyone that came down, one needed to be replaced. That's just a sidebar for right now. I just want you to understand that this is not a minor adjustment. This is the introduction of industrial infrastructure into a residential environment. The impacts are well documented on the air and light pollution perspective, disturbance of a natural habitat, and the impact to our community at large. Our community is your community. This is not an expansion of telecommunications infrastructure for which a variance was granted years ago. This is a completely new project for which, at this time, there are no long-term studies to the impact on the community residents. Let's start off with a brief overview of what the immediate issues are. First off, noise pollution. Data centers operate 24/7 and rely largely on cooling systems, transformers, and backup generators. These systems produce a constant low-frequency hum, typically ranging from 50 to 80 decibels at the property lines, comparable to heavy traffic. Most importantly, it never stops. The World Health Organization recommends outdoor noise levels do not exceed 45 decibels to prevent sleep disturbance, meaning this type of facility can exceed healthy noise levels on a continuous basis. Just so we're clear, this is not theoretical. Communities near similar facilities report chronic sleep disruption, stress, reduced quality of life from the constant hum. Our neighborhood is a multi-generational neighborhood from boomers to babies. The impact of this facility has the potential to be devastating on 5 generations that live in our community and for those to come. Second, light pollution and visual impact. These facilities require continuous lighting for security and operations. In a wooded residential area, that means permanent nighttime illumination where there's currently complete darkness. Fundamentally, you are changing the character of our neighborhood. Third, environmental and wildlife impact. There is an eagle's nest there, in case you weren't sure, but this is a wooded area. Construction will remove habitat and the continuous mechanical noise disrupts wildlife communication. If you're not familiar, that's the way that animals communicate, migration and behavioral patterns. Research also shows that this type of insertion into an area could increase ground temperature from the start of the facility opening on an average with an expansive heat shield, but in my land, where I live, 15 to 17 degrees immediately. Fourth, the strain on the infrastructure and power grid. There's a lot of back and forth about whether or not they'll use our power grid, our water, etc. But I will say that data centers consume enormous amounts of electricity and often require new substations and high voltage infrastructure, including additional industrial elements into a residential zone. The size of this data center that is proposed on estimate will take the amount of energy of 4,000 homes. If my numbers are correct, there are 4,500 homes in East Greenwich. Finally, property values. Studies and real-world examples consistently show that proximity to constant industrial noise, visual intrusion, and environmental disruption reduces residential desirability and home values. I want to emphasize, this is not an opposition to technology. It's about appropriate placement. Mickleton has industrial zoning. Why is that not being considered? We're aware that most of the council lives in Mickleton or perhaps Clarksville. I'm not sure that any of you live in Mount Royal, but come to our neighborhood and check it out. Even jurisdictions that support data centers often require hundreds of feet of separation from residential properties due to noise concerns. This proposal says 50 feet from my back door. Where am I supposed to go if I want to sit out back? Granting this variance would set a precedent that residential zoning protections can be overridden, even when the impact is immediate and irreversible for nearby homeowners. Well, this is not just about an erroneous decision of the planning committee to consider this proposal. Frankly, it feels to us that it's a violation of our trust in you as your constituents. And we're the ones who, voted you into office. Please remember one thing. Our voices will not go away. And whether or not you approve this, that's fine, but our voices will be heard either loudly or in no. Thank you.
Can I get your name and address for the record?
My name is Mary Ellen Wooler, 121 Oak Ridge. As my neighbor proficiently explained everything pretty much that was on my list, I do want to know, was any study independently done on the effects of all these issues, the environment, the water, the air, the land? And if they were done, are they available to the public? Nobody seems to be able to answer that question for me. My other question was, given the scale and industrial nature of this project, can someone explain to us how approving this application will be consistent with preserving the residential character and zoning intent of the area? I just feel like this is spot zoning, and it must be benefiting someone. I don't know who. It certainly is not benefiting East Greenwich Township. Thank you.
Members of the council. My name is Christy Mendenhall, and I live in Oak Ridge Development in Mount Royal on Acorn Drive. My home sits just 45 feet from where this proposed data center would be built. I am here tonight to strongly oppose this project. This is not simply another building. This is an industrial facility being placed directly within a residential neighborhood. Data centers operate, as Suzanne mentioned, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They rely on massive cooling systems that generate constant low-frequency noise. That means there is no true quiet, day or night, and families live next to this. It means no longer enjoying our backyards, our decks, our time with our friends and family. It means losing the natural sounds of wildlife we hear every day. And it means the slow erosion of peace, safety, and comfort that we were promised when we chose this neighborhood to live in. These facilities also rely on backup diesel generators, which are regularly tested and used during outages. That raises a very real concern about air quality and long-term health impacts, especially for children and older residents. Those risks should never be imposed on families without their full knowledge, consent, and protection. There are also serious safety concerns. High voltage electrical infrastructure on site fuel storage belonging in appropriately zoned industrial areas, not steps away from bedrooms, backyards, and family homes. And let's be honest about the financial impact. Placing an industrial facility this close to residential homes threatens property values and directly affects residents' ability to sell their homes in the future. Families like mine are being asked to absorb that loss, not through any fault of our own. Perhaps most troubling, this project offers little to no benefit to our community. It mostly directs impactly. Data centers create very few permanent jobs and provide no meaningful service to local residents. Yet, we would live with the consequences every single day. We did not vote for this, we were not informed, and we were not given a chance to weigh in before this appeared before our backyard because it was dug up starting last year. A whole road, trees taken away and not replaced. At its core, this is an issue of compatibility. Our neighborhood was built for families, not industrial operations. I respectfully urge the council to continue, because I'm happy to hear that you are considering this, and the long-term impact it would have on the Oak Ridge home and these families in the nearby areas, and deny this application. I ask that you stand with neighboring townships and take meaningful action to prohibit data centers in East Greenwich, because I'm sure none of you want this in your backyard either. Thank you.
Just a real quick comment to Mary, and I know Christie. From a standpoint of the application that was submitted, again, it will be reviewed by professionals, okay? And then at that meeting, they will have to come testify. All that information, again, that's why we can't comment on anything, we haven't seen it, nor have they come. So that's why everybody's encouraged to go to that planning and zoning board meeting, because that's where that testimony will be at.
Thank you, we will be there.
Is there anybody else that would like to come up and address Township Committee? I ask you please come up and provide your name and address for the record.
How you doing, Mr. Mayor?
How you doing, sir?
Town Council. I love my town. My name's Steve Newsom. I'm in Mount Royal, Weathering Farms. Listen, I just wanted to thank American Tower Corporation firsthand. You probably think I'm kind of crazy for that, right? Is anybody here from American Tower? Raise your hand. You're American Tower? Hey, brother, God bless your company. You just brought our whole town together. What? Oh, I thought you were with him.
Sir, I'm sorry. You do have to address the Township Committee,
Okay. Committee, I'd like to thank American Tower Corporation, or Un-American Tower Corporation, for bringing us together, because we love our town. And I would say majority of people voted for this board here, including myself, and I'm going to pray for you to make the right decision. I know that you care about your town because we all moved here for the schools, the parks, all the good things. We love our police. Chief, when you were sergeant, you solved a crime, you remember. You got the fingerprint off my window when a guy robbed me, a crackhead. Good decision making, the chief, whoever's call that was. I haven't been to a meeting since Speedy Gonzalez, the last mayor. They wanted to defund the police and lay some people off. So I'm pro you guys, and I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart, because I've never seen people so upset about this. I represent fighting men, fight cancer on a serious note. I don't know how this affects us long-term, our health. I don't know. I do know that I walk all the areas there in nature. I kayak back there between Edwards Run Stream to Mantua Creek. And what we have in this town is pretty special. I can't wait for July 2nd. You follow? So let's do the right thing. And I just want to ask a question, if you don't mind. If anybody's against this data center, and you can stand up, please stand up and raise your hand high. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. If there's anybody else that would like to come up and address Township Committee, yes, please provide your name and address.
My name is Maggie Supett. I live at Royal Crescent, right there across the street where they already are doing activity. I'm concerned about all the things they have proposed also. But the main thing is, I have MS, lupus, fibromyalgia, all of these autoimmune diseases where I live, and I'm sure in the other developments. We have so many autistic children. This noise, this vibration, this lighting that's going to be on all night. This is going to affect these kids, let alone the adults. But these children are innocent, and they don't deserve this in their community. We moved there. I want to move. I can't move. It's just not fair. And I feel that we were not informed about this at all, because I'm usually up on things and I read and I just go through what people say and listen to all the comments. I watched what happened in Georgia. This is not going to be good for Mount Royal and Royal Crescent and everyone, Weathervane, over it, none of us. It is just going to keep lights on all night. Our electric bills are going to soar. There's no water. The people are flushing toilets with bottled water. Then the water, our water's already got black in it. then it's gonna have all rust color. I've been watching and reading and listening to things that happen in other states with data centers. This is not good for our community. It's too close to all the people that live here. It should be out in no man's land if they want that, not right there in the community. I used to walk that highway until I fell, and I can no longer walk Berkeley Road. But I still walk back in the condos and around my development and into the houses, just to stay healthy, because I do have a lot of autoimmune diseases. But I see these children at where I live. I've watched them grow. I'm on 11 years. And all the newcomers that are coming in, what's gonna happen to them? I have 2 severely autistic grandchildren, 3 and 5. They don't live there, they live in Laurel Springs, but the thing is, what's gonna happen to these, to all of us? You know, like the children, they're innocent, they don't even know what's going on. We do. But I respectfully thank you for listening.
Thank you. Just a quick comment. Keep in mind that, as I explained in the very beginning, you know, our last meeting was in March. This application was received first week in April. Once it was received, it was posted for the Planning and Zoning Board through the proper channels, so it was advertised. That's how the information came out. Okay, as I explained, we're unable to comment. We're prohibited by land use law to comment on that application, but that is the method on how things will be advertised through the posted agenda that's sent out to the public. So, you know, from a standpoint of being informed, make sure you're signing up for the email blast and things like that so you can get that and check the website so you'll be aware of any changes in case there is any changes in the meeting schedule. Yes, and just real quick, this is our solicitor, Matt Lyons. I'd like him to comment, please.
Just briefly to address one of the questions raised, the applicant will be required to put on testimony under oath, and there is a right and opportunity for cross-examination by interested parties, anybody who has an interest in it. But as the mayor had said previously, the township professionals, both the planner and the planning board, zoning board attorney will review the matter before it is heard by the board also.
If there's anybody else that'd like to come up? Good evening, sir.
Christopher Nelson, 112 Sunset Drive. I've had several versions of what I wanted to say this evening over the course of the last 2.5 weeks. I could say very little, actually, in terms factually, that hasn't been said already. So I think it's important to note that what you're seeing here is an expression of misunderstanding about what was known and when. There's a significant amount of distrust in this community right now, directed perhaps appropriately, perhaps not, at this body, about what was known and when it was expressed and when it was acted upon. So what we heard this evening, that you guys are going to consider a resolution, or excuse me, an ordinance, is wonderful news. You all know I'm a policy person. I won't comment on that until I've read the text. What I will ask is, do you expect this to subvert the existing application in any way?
I will let her.
I guess the subvert would not be a word I would use in this context. Again, with the pending application, there needs to be a hearing with all the facts and testimony in both, from any perspective, be considered, and a findings of fact and a conclusion by the board. And then whatever that outcome is, it's based upon that record. And that's why these important comments tonight need to be entered into that record. And the actions, the issue you raise is governed by municipal land use law. There is a rule of application. I can't speak to the pending application. The planning board attorney will do that. But there is a need to hear this matter. There is a clock. Because the one thing we don't want to do is not have the board take its action, because then it can be deemed approved automatically. So that process is already underway and needs to be, the township, we need to fulfill that. while this is also going on. The primary purpose of the referral that the governing body is going to take action would be all future matters. So it is imperative that people opposed to the pending application have their comments entered into that record so that they can be fully considered for that hearing and that outcome.
And that was my question. So bottom line is, this application will go forward regardless of
It
that.
has to.
And so anybody who needs to put their opinions, their facts on the record should do so.
Yes, and again, anything used to uphold that or defend that from any subsequent challenge would need to be in that record. That, the boards, the zoning and planning boards are quasi-judicial, more like a hearing, like a trial, as opposed to this body, which is more legislative. There's an actual record taken of that, and again, the people that will present testimony will be under oath and will be subject to cross an examination. It's much more like a trial, and that's why it is important that these comments, as important as they are entered into that record at that hearing, wherever when it is conducted.
I appreciate that. I wanted that answered on the record out loud. Thank you.
I'm Heather Patterson, I live at 177 Acorn Drive. So I really don't need to rehash this.
Beautiful neighbors here. However, I do want to give you one visually. There's 28 family homes that butt up right against this line. And the distance that we have is basically, in a sense, the size of the school bus. The size of the school bus. Imagine walking out your back door and right there is going to be this facility. So 28 people's lives affected immediately, right there.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a clarifying question? Just so that you just.
If you want to come up to the mic, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I understand, because I think I might have misheard. So May 4th or May 5th, you're going to try to have something for this committee, correct?
No, ma'am. So the committee, township committee here meets the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, so that's what we're doing here. The planning and zoning board meets the third Tuesday of every month. So that application was originally, when they submitted the application, they asked to be heard on April 21st. They requested to move it to May 19th, which would be the next scheduled meeting. Unfortunately, we believe that, it would not be, this would not be the best location because of the interest in this subject. So we're trying to move it over to Samuel Mickle School. So we called them to find out their availability. They are available on Tuesday, May 5th. That availability is also based on the availability of the planning and zoning board and the professionals, because they're so used to having certain nights that they come. You move a night, those professionals may be in other towns, whatever, so we want to make sure that they were available. We're waiting for the applicant. The planning board attorney is reaching out to that applicant and asking them to go to, Samuel Mickle on May 5th to be heard. That way, it's a larger venue. They have not confirmed yet that they are available on May 5th, but that is what our intent is at that point to move it.
Thank you. And what happens if you don't have quorum on May 5th? If you don't have enough of your planning board, you said they might do in other cities, other towns?
So
I mean, obviously that would be an issue. We are under a time constraint, but there are many factors that go into when that clock runs. But that's why, as the mayor's expressed, there needs to be a coordination to meet all these factors. The big one being the venue, the location, because if we schedule it for here and can't conduct the meeting, the clock continues to run, and it could potentially be detrimental to the clock.
If there's a certain time frame, is that what you're saying? So
There's a certain time frame from when the application is deemed complete, and that's a term defined. And again, the best foot forward is to anticipate a large turnout, secure that facility, and get everybody coordinate on our end all of the people we need, as you said, members as well as professionals. The township professionals, as the mayor said, they ordinarily work these other nights, so that coordination is underway, and we'll make that known on the website in every way we can.
Yes.
Can I just ask one other question, if you don't mind?
Yes, ma'am.
Your ordinance you spoke about, could you just state it again? I think we all got really excited. I just want to hear that you're putting forth an ordinance, and if this plan has to move forward and the clock is ticking, are you putting forth an ordinance before that meeting to vote on it?
The governing body, I'm not a member, the governing body can't offer their opinion on that particular application because we don't want to have anything interfere with the record. And there are members up here that are also going to have a vote in that hearing. So the statute requires that hearing be conducted in an open and non-biased manner. Once the record is complete, conclusions will be reached. The rule of application, the municipal land use law, gives them the opportunity to proceed based on the date of their application. So they're doing that. That's going to have to happen while we simultaneously move forward with what the governing body instructed tonight. So it's vital that if you have an opinion, which clearly you do, on that particular application, you make those statements, that testimony at that hearing, so it gets its full consideration and is part of the final decision by that board.
I appreciate that, thank you. And do the members that are served on the planning committee or zoning board that are on this committee or council, do they recuse themselves from a vote against the ordinance, or how does that work?
Again, I don't want them to answer those questions, but so I'll say that there are certain circumstances, depending on the relief sought, where they may, because there may be an appeal to this body, and there are others where there is no appeal to the governing body where they can vote. So it is all detailed, and again, I don't want to presume anything, and I don't want to tell you how that hearing is going to go or speak on behalf of that board. But yeah, there is a line, but again, we're doing two things at once, which is speaking to the specific, which will occur at that hearing, and the governing body speaking to the general issue of data centers as a whole.
Thank you. Chris Nelson pointed out that there's a lack of trust with you to understand. Is there a vote that night? Is that what happened? Like, can that happen? I'm not asking if it definitely will happen, but is it possible if it's before the planning and zoning board that approval or rejection happens that night?
The process is that the testimony is given and there is a vote. I can't tell you, again, it could take some of those applications with this much public participation, could take multiple meetings so that everyone gets heard.
So everyone will get a chance.
Right, and if there will be at some point, I would imagine, a curfew. The old days, you go to 6 o'clock in the morning, that doesn't happen anymore. Until the next day, but the vote will occur when all the testimony is heard.
And I'll just comment, we are trying, when we scheduled a meeting on May 5th, if they're available, we are trying to schedule for a 6 p.m. start to allow a little bit more time for that. And, on the heels of the comment about, communication, whatever, keep in mind, like I said, according to solicitor, we're very limited. We are prohibited from having certain things and commenting on that. So, as much as we would like to have conversations or whatever, I'm sure you all respect the fact that we're following the rules of what we have to do.
Particularly those that are going to ultimately have a vote in that matter, for them to express their opinions prior to the record being created could jeopardize their ability and right to participate on behalf of the residents. They could be removed from the hearing as a voting person.
We would ask those people to have our backs.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is David Lamb, 122 Sandbar Lane, Mount Royal, in Oak Ridge Development. As a little boy, I wanted to live a good life, I read a lot of magazines about nature, and I read National Geographic every week at the library. I knew that environmentalism was something I wanted to do. Mr. Philbin, are you a pastor yourself, minister, from what I hear?
I'm not, sir.
You're not, okay. Are you a man of God?
I am a man of God, but
Beautiful.
does this have a question to the board, please?
And that's fine. So the reason I bring that up is we all have a purpose and a mission in life. And I'm not sure that you woke up as a child and you dreamed of being somebody that was gonna just let this slide and have a data center put up 50 feet from townhomes and right next to Mantua Creek, which is home to endangered sturgeon and bald eagles. I'm pretty sure that's not who you wanted to be as a child. So why is that who you are today as an adult? Because I'm done with the softball questions that other people have been asking. I'm gonna hold you guys accountable because that's our job as constituents. The fact that we have to waste our time tonight to be here, to do this, is absolutely a disgrace. Because why is it that Mantua's mayor? Why is it that Harrison's mayor? Why is it that several and many other South Jersey mayors were openly against this immediately? Whereas we had to find out through a blog. We 3 weeks away from the vote, we had to find out from a blog, and then the only reason this got pushed back and you guys are circumstantially against this is because we showed up. So please tell us, what are the benefits of this data center so that way maybe we could be a little more informed. Maybe we can be better informed about where your mindset is at, about why we need this data center 50 feet from townhomes and right next to Mantua Creek. Please, enlighten me.
Again, the members of the governing body aren't going to give a specific opinion on the pending application. That's going to be heard at the planning board. The way you're posing your question and demanding a response will likely force a recusal of the members of the governing body who also sit on that board and take away that right or ability to do what you're demanding that they do at that hearing. That may be frustrating, I understand that, but that's the constraints of the law, the municipal land use law and the statutes.
Respectfully, that's a lot of words for, I'm not going to stick up for the constituents like other mayors did.
Sir, it is not. Sir, it is not. Trust me, these matters, when there's a change in industry, which happens every so many years across the nation and in New Jersey, often requires this type of response from a governing body, and it's often that industry, whatever industry it is, files legal challenges to that. So I'm not doing my job here tonight if I don't protect the township and the process so that it's as defensible and enforceable as an end result as possible. If I understand your frustration, you prefer that not be the case. But my goal is to ensure that the township gets the fair hearing and that the result that occurs is not only an immediate perceived as the right interest of the township, but it remains enforceable and is not overturned by a judge. You're sitting here demanding statements and positions that will undermine that process, and it's not theoretical. There have been challenges over the years, and I understand the process, and what industry does is they challenge every single piece of the process, from notice to the hearings, to the oaths, to the qualifications of the people that give our opinions on behalf of the township. So that is the process we're in. I understand your frustration, but again, it's my job to protect the members' right to participate in that and to do, as you said, to do the will of the people.
You're very eloquent, so I appreciate you speaking. I would like to hear a little more from Mayor Philbin, please. What are the benefits of this data center?
Sir, you didn't listen to a word. I'm sorry, but you're demanding him do something that's going to disqualify him from that hearing. If that's your goal, and he makes those statements, and he in essence prejudges it, he's going to invalidate his ability to speak on behalf of his constituents at that hearing.
Sure.
That's the time.
I understand. One last question.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you.
If there's anybody else that'd like to come up and address Township Committee, please come up, provide your name and address for the record. Good evening.
My name is Danielle Perkins. I'm at 158 Windsor Way. I just have a question. Thank you so much for
trying to speed up the meeting and have it on May 5th at a larger location where we can all attend. Is there any way for American Tower to come in on the original date, which is next Tuesday, I believe, and like how we have an open session and try to present it next week, even though they are the ones that wanted to move it?
No, ma'am. So it's on an agenda. We have to post the agenda. So once that agenda had mentioned that it's getting moved, they would have to follow what the agenda is, because it has to be proper notice, and there's a specific amount of time that has to be placed on notice. So I did get that question before about a public session at the meeting next week. There is no public session because there's no application on there for a public session for that. But when there is an application on there, there will be a public session for that application. That's true for any time there's a planning and zoning application. There is a public session at that point.
Perfect, thank you. I just wanted it sort of
You're very welcome.
clarified that they couldn't sort of jump in. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
You're very welcome. Is there anybody else that'd like to come up and address Township Committee?
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
My name is Iris Jones. I live on Oak Ridge in the Oak Ridge development. I don't think I can say anything here that my neighbors haven't said. I would like to ask if the zoning and planning committee, as well as if this board has to disclose any type of financial or other conflicts of interest for the applicant.
Yeah, there are rules that apply to that, and people wouldn't be eligible if they had any interest in any application. They'd have to remove themselves from the hearing. They wouldn't be eligible to hear the vote on it.
And we can ensure that that question is asked live and on the record to ensure that everyone who has an interest or benefit discloses that and recuses themselves.
Well, again, that's a matter for the board, but I'll refer your request to the attorney for the board, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and address Township Committee? I ask you please come up, state your name and address for the record. I see none. Can I get a motion to close public session?
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. Our next meeting for the Township Committee will be April 28th. I would encourage you to please sign up for the email blast or whatever to stay up to date as to when that meeting will be scheduled. As of like right now, we are trying for May 5th at 6 p.m. at the Samuel Mickle School. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for the, actually being very orderly this evening. I very, very much appreciate it. So have a very great night. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great evening.